Hello and welcome to Superhumanity. I'm Tanner Scott, and this is my podcast where we'll talk about life through the lens of comic books. If you like what you're hearing, feel free to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get to the show. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Superhumanity. Today is going to be a pretty quick episode. It's just me in the studio, and so all I want to do is go over my week and then talk about some books from one of my favorite authors, Jeff Lemire. So let's start chronologically. First thing that happened, I think it was 10 days ago, the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day came out. Super cool. I watched it like 8 times. You guys should definitely go watch it if you haven't seen it. The current consensus on a lot of people's minds is that, okay, well, first of all, it's showing Peter Parker as more lonely, sad, super poor, which people are obviously into. Well, a lot of fans really like seeing Peter Parker live a sad life. So people are excited about that. A lot of other people think he's going to become Man-Spider, which means that his powers will mutate a little bit and he'll grow 4 extra arms to be an 8-limbed kind of monster creature. It looks like he's going to start growing his own organic webbing instead of using web shooters. So yeah, I'm going to definitely talk about that movie when it comes out. Super excited. Next cool thing that happened this week, for the first time in 45 years, a crossover between Superman and Spider-Man came out as a comic book. It was written by Mark Waid. He's a great author. He's written books like Superman Birthright, highly recommend it. Kingdom Come by DC, great book. With art by Jorge Jiménez. Now, I hadn't seen any of his work before. I'm pretty sure he's doing the new Batman run, written by Matt Fraction. But yeah, Jorge Jiménez has great art. And I was posting about this crossover on my Instagram story, TannerMScott_, if you want to follow me on Instagram. And Jorge Jiménez reacted to my story. And I was like, what? So that was super exciting. I think that was Wednesday, the day it came out. That was super fun. And then, so I live in Provo, a college town in Utah. The only place they were selling Superman and Spider-Man was up in Salt Lake. So I had to drive up there, probably like an hour drive, to go get the comic book when it came out on Wednesday. And so as I was driving up, I was like 10 minutes away from the store, and I was going to get there 20 minutes before it opened. So it opens at 11. I was there at like 10:40, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and my stomach was just wrecked. I don't know what I ate for breakfast, but something bad. So I was looking around. The comic store was closed. There was a bunch of these random tiny pastry shops and stuff like that. I was like, where even am I? And out in the distance, I saw a Wendy's. And I was like, I know Wendy's will have a bathroom. I got to get to a bathroom. So I get out of the car, and I start, okay, I'm not going to say I ran. I kind of like speed walked up a slight incline. But it felt like so far away to this Wendy's. And so I get to the Wendy's. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. And then I get to the bathroom, and it's locked. It has like a code. It's vacant. It's not occupied, but it has a code thingy. So then I just went to the cashier guy, and I was like, can I use your bathroom? And he's like, I think he could see the urgency in my eyes. So he let me use the bathroom. I feel kind of bad. I didn't get any food or anything, but it was okay. So then I went to the bathroom. I survived. And I ran out of Wendy's. I was like, okay, now I'm going downhill, so I can run. So I jogged my way to Black Cat Comics in Salt Lake. And it was like 10:50, and they were already letting people in. So I didn't get in first. Sad. But I went in and I got a couple copies of Superman and Spider-Man. I'm going to give some of them to some close friends who also like comics, so I got a bunch. And there was this one that had a cover of Crypto the Superdog and Spider-Ham, like the Spider-Man variant, who's a pig. And it was kind of this cute art style. I knew my wife would love it, so I grabbed that one too. It's not really my thing, but I got it for my wife because she's the best, and she did end up liking it, which was great. And then today, I just got back from watching Project Hail Mary with my wife. Incredible movie. Incredible. So good. Ryan Gosling, obviously, hit it out of the park. So good. And oh, it was just a good movie. I wish I had more collected thoughts about it. The music was awesome. The cinematography was amazing. Okay, yeah, I just looked it up. The cinematography is by Greg Fraser, who did the Batman, Matt Reeves' The Batman. So, I mean, like, of course it was going to be good. But yeah, it was such a joy to watch. Incredible movie. You got to go watch Project Hail Mary. I did not read the book before I watched it, which I was told to do. I didn't have the time. Like I'm reading 1984 and a bunch of comic books, so too busy to read Project Hail Mary. Sorry, everybody. No, I'll get around to it. But yeah, goated movie. My wife said that it might have been the best movie she's seen this year, and I might agree with her. It is only March. Nothing's coming to mind. Well, we did go watch at BYU's International Cinema. We watched Werkmeister Harmonies, this Hungarian apocalyptic noir film from the year 2000. That was a trip. I could talk about that movie. Anyways, on to today's topic. I want to talk about Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is a Canadian comic book author who's written a ton for Marvel. He's written a ton for DC, and he does a lot of independent stuff that ends up through Image, Dark Horse, or like Top Shelf. These are all other comic publishing agencies. Marvel and DC are the two main ones, but Image and Dark Horse are kind of like also there. And then Top Shelf I hadn't heard of until I researched them today. But I'm going to go through my top 5 Jeff Lemire books. Initially, I was going to rank all the ones I'd read, but I haven't read what a lot of people call his most important works. And I want to talk about the books that I actually really like instead of having to go over stuff that I didn't think was that good. So, we're going to go over top 5. Number 5, it's called Essex County. It's a trilogy about a super tiny town, about Essex County in rural Canada. And it's written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is so cool because he does a lot of the art for his own stories. So whereas most comic books are a collaboration between several different people, you got the writer, the penciler, or whatever you call him, the guy who does the drawings, then someone else does the coloring. But with Jeff Lemire, it's just like a pure expression of his artistic vision, which is so cool. If you've read The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, it's a pretty similar thing going on. So Essex County is one of those where Jeff Lemire does the art. It's kind of considered his quintessential work. It's just this introspective, maybe that's not the right word for it. It's a multi-generational, very slice of life human story. It's hard to get into the details. It's about hockey. It's about love and love unrequited and forbidden love. It's about betrayal. It's about hope. It's not as fantastical as some of the other books I'll talk about today, but man, it really shines a light on how imperfect we are as humans. But when it does that, it also highlights how beautiful that is. It's a beautiful book. It's good. Essex County, highly recommended. They even made a show about it. And from what I've researched, I don't know where to watch the show, but they did make a show. But definitely read the book. Okay, number 4, Descender and Ascender. Now, you may be asking yourself, that sounds like 2 books. And it's actually 2 series, but they're think about it this way. So you know how Star Wars has the 3 trilogies, but it's all like one saga? So Descender and Ascender, it's kind of one story, it's one saga. So I'm just going to call it Descender. The story follows a young robot whose name is Tim-21 as he kind of goes on this crazy galactic adventure trying to survive because 10 years ago, the United Galactic Council was attacked by these giant, mysterious, planet-sized robots called harvesters that just decimated the population. So everyone is anti-robot. All the robots and androids that have been built are being destroyed, hunted down by robot assassins. But this young robot, Tim-21, who has human feelings, just goes about in search of his brother Andy. And there's this awesome, spunky space warrior lady named Captain Telsa. Dr. Kwan is this kind of scaredy cat guy, but he's the leading doctor of robotics. And it's this just total ragtag team of galaxy explorers. And it's got great action. Oh yeah, and the art in this one. So this book is written by Jeff Lemire, but the art is by Dustin Nguyen, who does watercolor and ink on 3,000-pound hot press paper. I just looked up what that meant before this, and it's like a smoothly textured watercolor paper that allows for these really crisp lines and defined shapes and colors. Dustin Nguyen's art is incredible. I just started following him on Instagram today because his sketches and his art is so sick. And seeing sci-fi stuff in watercolor is so fascinating. Seeing giant robots in watercolor is man, that is a dream come true. Because for me at least, I think of watercolor and I think of scenes that are calm and still and nature, maybe a house or a river or the sky. But then Dustin Nguyen, it's there's aliens and there's robots and there's spaceships and it's awesome. And then Ascender follows the same group of people, but without spoiling too much, it's all about magic. There's evil witches, there's vampires, there's spells. It is so cool. It probably sounds kind of crazy the way I'm describing it, but Descender and Ascender, highly recommend. Maybe fourth place is too low for these two books, but they are really fun. And Dustin Nguyen is just great. Okay, let's go to number 3. Underwater Welder by Jeff Lemire. With art by Jeff Lemire. So once again, it's one of these books where it's just Jeff Lemire, and it's so good. So The Underwater Welder is about a guy who's an underwater welder, and he's kind of trying to escape living his own life ever since his dad died when he was a kid. This grief is just tearing him up. He doesn't really know what to do with it. But the point of the book is that he's about to be a father himself, and he has to deal with that. And he goes on this mystical journey. Maybe not mystical is right. He goes on this introspective journey throughout his past to deal with the trauma of the death of his father and the brokenness that really was their relationship. It is the most introspective a book can really get. It is so much about self-reflection on a level that I've never seen before. And it's fantastic. And once again, Jeff Lemire's art is so good at expressing pain and uncertainty and confusion. And Underwater Welder is a book about pain and uncertainty and confusion. And man, it's good. Underwater Welder is really good. It's the first Jeff Lemire book that I read. It kind of got me introduced to him. And it was a good place to start. Underwater Welder was seriously legit. So with that, we go to number 2. My second favorite Jeff Lemire book is AD After Death, a trilogy. Now, this is kind of an exception because it's written by Scott Snyder, not Jeff Lemire, but the art is by Jeff Lemire. Scott Snyder's famous for writing Batman in the New 52, which is like DC's like 2010 main run. He's also writing Absolute Batman, which is going on right now, which is awesome. You should definitely check out Absolute Batman. It's super fun. And he and Lemire got together to write After Death through Image Comics. After Death is the story of a kleptomaniac, this thief, who is alive when they find the cure for death. The story is told sometimes in the past, sometimes in the present, sometimes in the future. Super dreamlike, incredibly mysterious, kind of eerie. But it turns out the whole utopia that these people had built after curing death was not what it seems. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is a wonderful sci-fi, eerie study of what it means to remember, what it means to forget. Because once they cure death, they realize that memories only last for like 100 years, and then you forget everything. So you could meet somebody, know them for hundreds of years, and then if they go away for hundreds of years, then you'll have to meet them again for the first time. You don't even know who they are. The book is kind of about what happens when you start remembering before the cure for death and the suspicious means by which the cure was actually brought about. I don't want to spoil it, but man, crazy book. After Death, so good. Okay, top 1, my favorite Jeff Lemire book. If you know Jeff Lemire, this is going to be a really hot take because it's not that important, it's not that big of a book, but it's called Fishflies. Going over Jeff Lemire's books in my head, it was so hard for me to choose a favorite, but I'm choosing Fishflies. Here's the deal with Fishflies. It's a book about, rural Canada, because Jeff Lemire loves to do that, and this is art by him, so he's just so good at portraying the eeriness, but at the same time, the coziness that comes from being in the middle of nowhere. This book, Fishflies, is about this young girl who doesn't fit in. She's totally a social outcast. Her dad is a total jerk, and so she's just trying to get along, and obviously she's lonely, But she meets this 6-foot-tall giant insect creature monster thing, and they become friends because obviously they're both outcasts. You can't fit in as a giant insect monster. But they end up caught in the middle of this small town murder mystery story. It's intense. It's got great mystery elements. There's this awesome cop character. And it explores the idea that some wounds go back a lot farther than just one murder. Some stories are a lot deeper than that. It is a book about revenge. It's a book about forgiveness. And it's a book about how we can change even cycles that have been going on for a long time. It's a really hopeful book in that way. We can change the future. We don't have to relive the past. And honestly, that is my whole list. Just read all the books that I went over. I'm going to put them in the description. They're so good. If you want to get into comics, but maybe not superheroes, Jeff Lemire is the place to go. He does write a lot for DC and Marvel, does a lot of superhero stuff. He's writing the ongoing Absolute Flash series, which I should really read because, it's Jeff Lemire. I love this guy. And that's my list. We have Essex County, Descender, Underwater Welder, 80 After Death, and Fishflies. All good, all emotional storytelling, and a lot of amazing art in these books. I think they're all actually done by Jeff Lemire except for Descender, which is art by Dustin Nguyen, and he's also amazing. And so with that, I don't want to take any more of y'all's time, so I will let you guys get going. Thank you so much for listening. Next week is going to be super exciting. I'm having my brother Richard back in the studio, and we're going to talk about Batman Arkham Asylum. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at TannerMScott_ for more details on what I'm working on and what I'm reading. I will see you guys next time on Superhumanity.